So as I mentioned, we are live here in the studio where we have hundreds of people in the venue and a standing room only crowd, but we also have watch parties going on all around the world. So let's have a little competition. I want to see who can make the most noise wherever venue we're at. So when I give you guys the cue, I want you guys to applaud for yourself. I have a live audio in my headset from all the different watch parties around the world, and we're going to see who can make the most noise. Right, let's start with the standing room only crowd here in the studio. Let's hear it. All right, pretty good. Those of you out in Lagos, let's hear it. Okay, pretty good. What about Lisbon? Let me hear you. Wow, okay. Athens. And last but not least, Istanbul. Okay, it's going to be a really tough decision on who made the most noise because I'm not actually wearing a headset. I'm just wearing a microphone. But you guys all applauded for yourself and got the blood flowing, and that's the most important thing. So moving right along, let's talk about our next presentation and introduce our speakers. We have 3 people for a fireside chat, and that includes Louisa, the head of Stablecoins and Payments at Mysten Labs, Ben O'Neill, the head of Money Movement from Bridge, and Debbie Soon from Privy, which is a Stripe company. Let's welcome them all to the stage.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Um, welcome, Debbie, Ben. It's a pleasure to have you both here.
Likewise.
Before I kick off, I generally like to throw out a fun question before we get started. So I know that both of you are from New York. We're in Miami. I believe we've been in Miami for the past couple of days. What's been your favorite meal so far?
At empanadas.
Where?
An empanada.
Yeah, empanadas.
Empanadas?
Yeah,
Here, we had empanadas upstairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one after this.
Okay, awesome. Debbie?
Gosh, oh, you know what? Joe's Stone Crab.
Love it.
Yeah. And also, fun fact, I was a resident of Miami for like a year and a half up until half a year ago. So it's like being back on old stomping grounds.
Amazing. I'll need to
Yeah.
get Rex from you for all
Yeah.
the hotspots.
Definitely.
Great. Well, let's get into it. We're here to talk about the next generation dollar. And I think both of you work at organizations that will help pave the way for what that looks like. So if I could start off with you, Debbie, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Privy, the Stripe company, and how you guys are working on the next generation of dollars?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Debbie. I head up marketing at Privy. Got acquired by Stripe last year. Bridge is also a Stripe company, so we work very closely together. I guess Privy, in a nutshell, we provide wallet infrastructure to make it really easy to embed managing digital assets within your existing app. And so when we talk about digital assets, that obviously includes the next dollar, whether that be stablecoins or whether that be other kinds of RWAs, cryptocurrencies, and yeah, just here to make that whole experience accessible to both the end users and teams building on that technology.
Ben?
Bridge is basically a stablecoin company, like no more or less. We would always pitch ourselves as Stripe for stablecoins until we got acquired by Stripe to build stablecoins for them. But the whole goal is to do whatever you want to build on stablecoins. Can we give you an API to do that, right? If you want to mint stablecoins, burn stablecoins, hold stablecoins, spin them on a card, right? Issue your own stablecoin, whatever it is. We want to give you APIs to just make that seamless. So you don't have to worry about the fiat side, the kind of financial operations, the regulations, all that we can handle, and you can go build, financial applications. You can integrate stablecoins into your business all through our APIs. So anything you want to do with stablecoins is kind of what we're trying to do and continue to expand that bundle to make it a one-stop shop.
Awesome. And since the acquisition, as you mentioned, Debbie, how has that changed the roadmap for your 2 individual companies, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't. I think it doesn't really change the roadmap per se. I think it expands the opportunity of what we can do together. So, I think before we came together, we had could integrate Bridge via an API, and now we're able to abstract away that even more by having a native integration. And I think we'll start to see that a lot more as well with existing Stripe products. where everything was technically and technically feasible. But I think as kind of three companies come together, it makes for an incredibly powerful stack and also simplifies the process for a lot of people that are starting to look to build on crypto and stablecoin rails.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was going bigger faster. There were a lot of enterprises we were talking to in Q3 of 24 that were like, yeah, this is interesting. Stablecoins, I kind of get it. Maybe we'll have like the Skunkworks innovation team that'll look at it. We'll run a pilot. We'll see. And then when Stripe bought us, they all called back and said, what are we missing? Like, we need to go figure this out now. And we had a lot of these enterprises like Meta announced last week, right? Fortune 500 companies that it's clicked, right? And having the backing of Stripe and the go-to-market motion of Stripe and the kind of aha moment that they can bring to these enterprises made the entire thing way more real to these like large international companies to build on stablecoins, whether it's Bridge, or Privy or somebody else. It kind of like validated a lot of this at that macro scale and just really pushed us to grow up fast and go big fast.
Going bigger, growing faster. On that note, from the regulatory standpoint, I have to ask, I know we don't like talking about that, but I do think we're having a very big regulatory moment, which is why we are seeing these large announcements from enterprises like the Metas of the world. What does the stablecoin bill mean for you two?
It brings us out of the gray area, right? Like when you're a large regulated institution, right, a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, a public company, you can't operate that much in the gray, right? And like we get stablecoins, we get your, legal positioning on how you move them and why it works, but it's still too gray for them to get comfortable. And so I think we saw when Genius passed a year ago, it brought a lot more comfort to these compliance teams, these legal teams at these large enterprises to say, okay, we're comfortable moving forward now. And so I think it's just really providing that clarity to the market to say, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it within the law. Here's how like your individual regulator will treat stablecoins from an accounting point of view, from a money movement point of view, from a banking point of view, that allows them to actually go ship something that they don't need to worry about looking over their shoulders at every turn. So I think generally the regulatory turn has made it a lot easier for these enterprises to move quicker with a lot more clarity.
Yeah, I would say I think Privy, from a historical perspective, has always believed in, how do we make digital asset ownership easy? How do we make digital identity easy? And hence historically, we've always offered non-custodial, self-custodial wallets by default, and that, you own your own assets. No one can kind of take that away from you. And that has also allowed us to expand globally to over 180 countries, like in a way that has, been pretty seamless. I think when a regulatory landscape comes into play, as Ben pointed to, I think having that clarity makes enterprises more open to embracing it. When there is, a lack of clarity, there generally is going to be hesitation about, do I want to rebuild my financial stack or add to my financial stack if in 2 years all of this is going to go away? So what we've seen for sure as a result of regulatory environment is, again, a lot of enterprises, a lot of institutions starting to embrace stablecoins and Privy now being able to serve them as well, and also working with Bridge as a licensed custodian partner to really expand the kind of offering that we have.
Excellent. You mentioned enterprises adopting stablecoins. Let's drill into that a little bit. Bridge obviously launched their stablecoin issuance platform. I'm curious, from your perspective, what was the motivation behind that? Was it because you foresee a future of more stablecoins?
Yeah, I'm 100%. Like that's like the basis of Bridge since the beginning, was that there will be more and more and more stablecoins, because you want to control how a stablecoin moves within your ecosystem, within your platform, right? We see it with, Sui Dollar, that like you want to say this is native to our blockchain, right? The reserves can be reinvested into our ecosystem, right? We can build features in this asset that are explicit to us, and we don't need to rely on a third party, right? We see this all the time with the fintechs and the payment companies that are building on Bridge, that there are conversion fees, between dollars and stablecoins that don't make sense to them, that there are earning opportunities that they're missing. There's branding opportunities. There's customization and control that they want that they can't get from somebody else's asset, and they want to issue their own. And so we've seen this with, the native markets team in Hyperloop. We've seen it with Sui. We've seen it with the Phantom team, with the Klarna team as well, that like they want to control that asset that they're building on and not rely on someone else to kind of be a benevolent partner into perpetuity, but also that there's right? If you have a lot of money sitting in stablecoins on your network, you want to earn from that, right? There's a pot of money that's great for you. And if you're not earning on it, you're effectively paying rent to somebody else. And so it's the customization, it's the earning opportunity that people really want to control how that works. And I think what we're starting to see with Sui is that customization really get pushed forward to say, what does it mean to have a stablecoin native to us? And how can we make that work better for us, which is really unique.
1000%. Paying rent to someone else is a touchy point for me. I just recently moved to New York. So if you know, you know. How is that platform going right now, the stablecoin issuance platform? And what types of organizations would you like to see start issuing their own stablecoins outside of chains and crypto wallets?
Everyone. I mean, I'm talking my
Gonna
book.
Ben coin.
Yeah. They tried internally at one point. I told them no. But I think if you're holding any sort of balance in stablecoins and you're not earning on it, it immediately becomes a question of like, why not? Right. And so I think that's the first point a lot of people trigger is like, if I have a wallet or a marketplace or any sort of platform that's holding any amount of money, you should look at issuing your own stablecoin, right? If you're a payments company that's doing a bunch of throughput, you should look at how do I build an ecosystem around that asset that I'm paying out. And so like I actually like it's joking that I say everyone, but I do think that there will be this explosion of ecosystem tokens in a platform like a bridge that makes it seamless to have a clearinghouse between them, right? So you don't need to know, right, that I'm holding Ben coin, you're holding Debbie coin, you're holding Louisa coin.
Yeah.
So it'll just happen like atomically that we can swap between them. We don't need to actually think about that. But when money's at rest, you want to control a lot of how that works. Or when money's existing in your ecosystem, you want to control how that works. So like I do actually believe that any large payment platform, any large fintech, finance company, bank, tech provider is eventually going to have either a stake in a stablecoin that they can kind of drive the design of to a degree or their own.
And maybe to add to that, I think kind of as the wallet, which is really the control plane for holding all these different stable coins, it's important for us as Privy to enable that kind of swapping, like as they handle all of the orchestration on the back end, that we enable swapping natively with just a single API. And we're already seeing that we wrote that out, built on Uniswap, and we've already seen kind of people starting to use that and really being able to switch between stable coins and other assets in a really seamless way.
Yeah, so quite frankly, there are a lot of other stablecoin issuance platforms out there. And when Sui was taking a hard look at the market and deciding on who to collaborate with and partner with, we really saw the value in the network effect, to your point, Ben. We saw Hyperliquid, Phantom, MetaMask choosing you as a destination to issue their stablecoins in terms of the platform. And we believed as you continue to grow that product and service that we wanted to be part of that network. Because at the end of the day, stablecoins, it is a liquidity game, it's a distribution game, and we wanted to piggyback off of that Stripe network. And the fact in partnerships with Privy, you have the entire stack to continue to grow your crypto product suite. So ultimately, that's why we decided to partner with you all.
And it's great to see it actually coming to fruition, right? You've got this Stripe on-ramp, right, that you can use. You can just make it feel like a dollar, which is an amazing part of like this family of products that you can treat stablecoins just like any other asset within your network without having to make it feel like an unnatural jump. And I think y'all have done a great job in normalizing that throughout the Privy, Stripe bridge stack.
Yeah. Well, you just let the cat out of the bag. We actually wanted to make an announcement here today. No, you did well. This is great. This is great. This is great. Sui Dollar is now officially live on Stripe on-ramps. You can on-ramp directly into Sui Dollar via fiat currency from ACH, wire, debit, instant ACH credit here in the US today. You can purchase your first Sui Dollars downstairs at the booth via our first-party product Slush Wallet. You can then immediately take that balance and deposit into our Slush strategies to earn extra yield. So if you haven't done so already, please stop by the booth and pick up some Sui Dollars.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's awesome.
In addition to that, we actually have a lot of plans for the Sui Dollar, and I'm hoping that we continue to collaborate on that. But before I jump into that, I do want to touch a little bit about just stable coins in general being used in the real world payments economy versus how it's currently being used, or rather, currently dominated by DeFi and trading activity. There's been a lot of data that's been shared, and there's a wide range of what people believe to be the real world payments volume. I have a point of view, but I'm very curious to get your thoughts on what is the current split of usage for stablecoins from trading perspective, and trading in the sense of using it to buy cryptocurrency versus using it in the real world economy for people to send each other stablecoins peer to peer, for businesses to settle in stablecoins, and for merchants to accept stablecoins as a form of payment. What does that split look like to you?
Well, I clearly have not done the research, but I will share a statistic though.
Sure.
I think not too long ago, the share of in Privy today powers over 120 million accounts. Not too long ago, the share of stablecoins in Privy wallets was called 20 odd percent, and now it's at over 70%. And I think a lot of that is a result of obviously we do have a number of trading customers, so not to say that they're not using it to swap their stable coins into hype or something else. But I think it's also showing the landscape of how our customers are changing. One of our customers, Ramp, is powering stablecoin business banking accounts. They had a company, a Y Combinator company, that recently received all of their funding all in stablecoins. So I think definitely I truly believe that we're at the inflection point, especially from a B2B standpoint. I think from a retail standpoint, which is why I'm really excited about working with Stripe and Bridge, is that there are easy card integrations that you can tie to a wallet balance and spend, and enable just-in-time spending directly from a wallet. And so I think as those integrate into traditional card rails where Visa and MasterCard are accepted today, that also makes consumer adoption a lot easier. And I'm hopeful, and I do think that we're going to see more of that over the next year.
I love the fact that you brought up card. Stay tuned for an exciting announcement later on that, associated with Sui Dollar as well. Ben, do you have anything else to add on top of
I
that?
just say I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think it's dominated by trading. That's what most things happening on chain are,
Yeah.
right? A lot of the automations on chain are, DEX trading and optimizing around things like, Pump.Fun and things like that. But you are seeing, like, Visa comes out in every single earnings report talking about how much they're settling in stablecoins, right? And every quarter it gets egregiously larger at every turn. And so I think really internationally outside the US, you're seeing that tick up of people saying, I want to hold $1, right? I want to save in $1 and I don't want to convert it into the absolute last minute
Mhm.
when I spend it. And so, like, you're seeing a lot of those card transactions move into stable coins, and I think the B2B transactions as well. And you are starting to see a lot more platforms taking a more payments focused approach to stablecoins and how they're expanding, like something that you and I have talked a lot about and expanding
Yeah.
Sui Dollar. Like, I think over the next year, you will start to see like real use cases coming out of like, hey, this makes our business more efficient, right? This makes our users happier, right? We have a customer